few words, what does Ninjala mean to me?
What does Ninjala mean to me?
What does Ninjala mean to me?
Wow, you're really giving me the hard ones to start off with that, huh?
Ninjala to me represents community.
Community. I think this game has a fantastic community.
A great community surrounding the people I have in my own Discord and around the Ninjala community, and we've made it an incredible place to hang out. We've made it an incredible place to play Ninjala, as well as other variety games that we also do.
I've never seen as many people be as passionate for a game as Ninjala.
Ninjala was for me a hype video game.
I guess for me, it's really one word, freedom, because it is one of the few games that I've played that truly lets you play the game how you want to play the game.
I've seen that many artists. I've seen that many people play the game. I follow that many people that play the game. It's just, it is the community to me is like, that's the one way I describe Ninjala. Everyone practically knows each other. We're all one giant community.
It's a fun beat 'em up game. Like, I just enjoy it. It's a enjoyable game.
What is Ninjala? Free to play? Multiplayer? Action? Fighting? Platformer? The answer is all of them. But what makes the game? What do you think of when you think of Ninjala?
Competition. This is one of the few games that I have kind of taken seriously for myself from a competitive standpoint.
A cool game. Well, I would say like an aesthetically pleasing game. Because the game looks amazing.
A lot of my friends right now is from Ninjala. Like, I don't have much like other online friends outside of it. And the game I've just played like the most out of like any game right now is Ninjala.
Ninjala is one of the first games I played competitively. So it really does hold a big part for me in my life.
It's just a game that I play to relax and hang out with friends that I've made online.
It kind of gives off the faint sense of just fun, and specifically like summer fun, because that's when the game released. So I associate it with summertime, and summertime is usually pretty fun.
So, Ninjala means to me as a family, more like a creative like misfits of anything that's possible for anyone to join.
In a matter of context, besides kids blowing up gum and using it to battle each other, in my vision, I see it as an opportunity to make friends in your own adventures, no matter the skill, level, or rank. It's your story, and you can make it whatever you like.
In a few words, when I think of Ninjala, it's about the 3 C's. It's about community, it's about competition, and it's about creativity.
How did you first find out about Ninjala, and when did you start playing Ninjala?
Well, I found out about Ninjala maybe a little later than some people, which is kind of funny considering that I worked for the company that released it. I was the original community manager for Ninjala when it launched in June of 2020. I was actually trying to think about this in preparation for the interview, and I can't quite remember, but I think that Ninjala was first revealed at E3 in 2018.
So, believe it or not, I went to E3 2018 when they actually Nintendo confirmed that like Ninjala was going to be released originally in the 2018 launch. It was an E3 booth, and I saw the details, and they're going to confirm it before the actual beta started. I started playing in the second beta of it, not the first one, but the second one. It was pretty fun. I know a lot of people say like the first beta was awful, but I started playing the second beta, and here I am now, started season 9.
Before Ninjala, I had it's still around. I had a friend group where it was mixed with my IRL friends and my online friends that I met like through other places. Like before Ninjala, I was a part of the Mario Kart 8 community, so some friends that I've met from there, like they were in that server, and then my IRL friends from high school, they were in the server too, so we all were all just there and just hanging out. And then a couple of them were like, yo, there's this new free-to-play game named Ninjala that's going to be coming out, and there's going to be having a beta soon. So we were all hyping it up. Like, we were going to give it a shot and see what it was all about, because, free games, you can't go wrong with free games. But it turns out that I was the only one to play the beta, because everyone else just had something going on. So I was like, okay, I'll play this beta, and I'll tell them how the game was. And I actually really liked the game. I played for like an hour or two of the beta, because I started playing it so late. And I really liked the game. I liked, there was just something about it that had me a little bit addicted to it. And I'm not sure what it was, probably because of how quick it was. But after that, I kind of wanted to, after the beta ended, I wanted to play it more. So I noted down when it was we noted down when it was going to come out. And when the game came out, we all just got on the game and we started playing teams together. And then, yeah, that's how I started playing the game.
The game is about ninja warriors who use ninja gum, a gum that was created in an experiment that allows the user to use ninja weapons as well as other abilities. However, the side effect was that if you were an adult, you were turned into a child. There are 8 main characters, but the game allows you to create any original character you want, from hair, clothing, and even picking your own music you jam while fighting in the game modes. There are numerous weapons to pick from: katanas, hammers, yo-yos, boards, claws, along with subclasses of set weapons, so you don't have to worry about lack of variety in terms of weapons. Not to mention, there is also ninja gum that can change the way you play, as well as special shinobi cards and gun ninjutsu.
I mean, IPPON katana, boxing gloves.
So in Ninjala, I primarily play the trick ball.
So, my main weapons I play is IPPON katana, drill beast, and scrap saber.
I'm a skate hammer main since season 1, I think. I was drill player day 1, then skate player.
The weapons I play yo-yo, caliber, drumbeat, motor.
Any weapon I can really play. However, I do honestly prefer playing the new claw weapons that were added not too long ago, a couple seasons ago. I think those are my favorite just because they offer high mobility, speed, and a lot of growing potential that a lot of people still don't see in the game.
But I am mostly weapon fluid, meaning that I could change weapons anytime.
I really enjoy playing Cornbat, although I do play Skate Hammer and Sushi X on occasion.
And for those, I mainly play Caliber, which is my main weapon. I've been maining it like since season 3. I dabbled with it since when it came out, but that was when I wasn't taking the game like as seriously. But season 3 that changed and I took it more seriously.
For that purpose, I've decided to pick up Bird Drill as of late and DJ Scratch for both my BR and team weapons.
I am one of the few home run surfer players still left in the game. Underused weapon that I kind of just became obsessed with because I felt, again, it played into what I said before about, allowing me to be creative in how I play the game.
Big on skate hammers. Everyone knows me as one of the skate hammer OG players in there and everything. My Tenchi Muyos are great. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
So with all these weapons, cards, and gum, how do you play Ninjala? Well, there is a tutorial that can teach you the mechanics, but simply put, you either find people and try to knock them out, or hit drones. Both get points, and whoever has the highest wins.
What games would you compare Ninjala to?
Honestly, that's a good one. I'll give Ninjala the benefit of the doubt. I think it's a pretty unique game, although I do know that when it first released, it had a lot of comparisons to Splatoon for whatever reason.
I say the most obvious one everyone keeps saying is Splatoon.
Art style wise, Splatoon.
Mainly focusing on Splatoon aesthetics.
Yeah, maybe in 2 years ago, I compared this game for Splatoon maybe for the graphism.
I easily just my mind connected it with Splatoon because of the art style.
Would you say Splatoon 2 has a more active player base than Ninjala?
Oh yeah, for sure. Splatoon is huge. Tons of tournaments, lots of community resources and stuff like that. It's great. Wish we had that for real.
Splatoon definitely has had. It's been out a lot longer. It's already Splatoon 2 was the second game, and it was on the Wii and released on the Switch as well. So, and even to this day, you can still get on and find games fairly easily. But with Ninjala, it doesn't seem to be the case. You can sit in a lobby for what feels like a long time before you actually load into a match.
100%. I mean, if we're talking Splatoon, even being an ambassador for so long, and even as a former ambassador of Ninjala, Logic Motion stated that the peak player base of Ninjala was during the Demon Slayer collab, and we're seeing a very similar resurgence now with the current Jujutsu Kaisen collab that is currently going on in the game. And the player base is there, where I don't know the actual numbers, but I can guarantee you, based on the amount of time the game has been out, and based on the games that are around it, and the games that are very similar to where it is with Splatoon with a little bit of Fortnite. Obviously, those games have had a massive player base for a long time now, and they're growing. Splatoon is a big thing now in the Western scene, and it wasn't a few years ago. And Ninjala, I feel like, is kind of in the same valley right now, where it's super big on the Japanese side of things, and the Western scene, we do have people. It's not nearly as big as it was, and that, of course, that comes with time. But in terms of player base, yeah, we're definitely more of a niche player base compared to the Splatoon and Fortnite groups, and that's just a given. I think the biggest one that a lot of players will compare Ninjala to, it's Splatoon, right? And that's the biggest one I hear all the time. They basically think it's. I guess I've heard this, and this is really funny to me, but I've heard it as Splatoon Fortnite before, because it is a Battle Royale setting, but instead of, being the last one standing, it is having the most points, or obviously in the featured battle mode, Last Ninja Standing, obviously, it is last person standing. But aesthetically, I think a lot of people, and even myself, I'd compare it a lot to Splatoon, and I initially, before Ninjala, I did end up coming from the Splatoon community. So I already had a draw to Ninjala just based on how it was being advertised and how it was being shown off. So I thought it was really neat, so I gave it a shot. But in terms of everything that goes on with Ninjala, I would definitely say Splatoon and a very minimal level of Fortnite is kind of how I would compare Ninjala to other games.
That's hard, to be honest. I know there's a lot of people that compare it to Splatoon, but it's 100% not Splatoon. It is so different, not even close with being compared to Splatoon. I don't know. I don't think there's a game that I've played or I've known that's similar to Ninjala. It's its own unique game experience.
Gameplay wise, Shinobi Strikers comes to mind, even though I've never played it.
Naruto Shinobi Strikers, dead on that.
And additionally, which is kind of something that Splatoon doesn't let you do, Shinobi Strikers, Naruto Warrior Shinobi Strikers also gives you the same amount of freedom regarding playing the game how you want to play the game. There's a wide variety, just like in Ninjala, how there's a wide variety of weapons and a wide variety of Shinobi cards, and now with the Gum Lab, you have a wide variety of options on what you want your kits to be. The same thing is applicable in Shinobi Strikers, you have a large variety of gear that you can equip to give you different attributes. You have a large variety of jutsus to choose from, depending on how you want to play the game. You have a large variety of ninja tools that you can use to kind of shape your gameplay. I think all of those things combined, I think, that game is most comparable to Ninjala.
The thing is, I've never really seen anyone play Shinobi Strikers, so it's definitely hard to say, but overall, I do think Shinobi Strikers might have a more active player base than Ninjala, but I don't know. I've not exactly seen that many people play Shinobi Strikers or talk about Shinobi Strikers for the past couple of years, so...
Its player base is... I would say no. If we're talking about player base as a whole from both from every region, Ninjala I think still has a higher player base, but regarding just North America, Europe, I think that game has a higher player base. Yes.
Season 9. Oh man. Well, the first things first, I think there's a lot of good things this season. There are also some trade-offs this season that I think the community, the majority of the Ninjala community, has made very vocal.
Research lab is interesting, but it's really cookie cut, like just really dry because everyone has the same abilities with the skill trees and everything. Like there's nothing like super special about it, but it is like the actual first official pay to win if you want to max out everything.
I'm just like, why? I understand they probably did that to like make an incentive for playing, but the fact that you can pay for it and the fact that it just gives basically just more damage to weapons from level up is kind of weird.
I'm just not that impressed as far as the gum research lab. I know the WNA resort is still, in the very early stages, but it's still something that for me doesn't quite peak like what Ninjala could have been at this point, already going into 2 years of the game.
Okay, about the season 9, I think they had to add a new weapon and new map like they had to do in season 8 too, but because of the Splatoon 3 hype, which come in few months, 2 months maybe, they have to do something for that because the players will be in Splatoon 3 instead of Ninjala. Then they have to do more events and more exciting things in the season 9 and 10, but season 9 is still good too, but yeah, they have to add something in Ninjala.
The latest season is all right, but there's still a lot to be decided. While the Gum Lab isn't that bad of an idea, it increases the game's activity to a certain extent, since people are trying to grind away for that. But it's blatantly pay to win in the end. At the end of the day, you can buy the the research currency that they use for leveling up certain perks. Yeah, you can just flat out buy that. I don't like that. I'd rate it like overall the season, I'd say about 7 out of 10. Still got lag issues too. I give it a 7 only because of the visual lobby, the one saving grace.
WNA Resort is like the best thing that's in Ninjala, or was the best thing that's in Ninjala. I miss you, WNA Resort. Come back.
What we saw of it, the sort of the brief demo that we got of it, or it was a few days that we got to kind of play around in it. It seemed like people were really making the most of it, doing a lot of taking a lot of selfies, right, doing screenshots and doing emotes and exploring the space and stuff like that. And I think that's a pretty nice piece of content to add, because at the end of the day, it's kind of just a waiting room, and so it's kind of cool that they went so huge with it. And from my perspective, I'd love to see them go even bigger with it and have there be even more to do, and maybe, like I said, some mini games and stuff. I mean, you could just put like tic-tac-toe out there or something, that could be really cool and kind of keep the community together.
But it's been fun. It's been enjoyable so far. Like, I really don't have any really big complaints. Like, I can't wait for like the resort to be like completely full, though, and for us to have our own tags in the game too.
The third thing I want to mention with this season in season 9, I love the aesthetic of it. I think it's really funny that they themed the season after bugs, because obviously we, as a Ninjala player, we know for a while that Ninjala was full of bugs, and I think there's some dramatic irony and just some hilarious irony in there.
Ninjala, the season as well, overall, like costumes and wise, and what's changed, I definitely do like, because it's allowed more weapons to come into the spotlight that weren't previously in the spotlight, I think.
That season 9 is themed bugs, but the costumes look great. Everything seems to run really smoothly. The biggest thing they adjusted in the patch notes was buffing a lot of weapons that needed buffs. They really accounted for a lot of weapons and lag. The game feels a lot smoother now to play than I would say 3 seasons ago. Everything seems to hit consistently, unless you have someone who has an awful internet connection. But I think season 9's in a good place. I mean, the second year anniversary of Ninjala is going to be coming literally next season in season 10, and then on top of that,
the recent patch. Now, when I looked at the patch notes, I was like, all right, interesting. So for starters, the skateboards got thrashed on, completely dogged for no particular reason. I'm just like, why they keep doing this? Is it because of BR players, which is like, you can't really balance around that because how the weapon's designed? So I'm just like, they just keep nerfing it to a point where it probably feels like actual garbage to play compared to other weapons that doesn't get hard and nerfs them. Like this, like the boards compared to katana or any of the other teleport weapons with a back attack. Second, the hammers change with their wide attacks is pretty interesting. Allows them to fight better and gives them another attack option. I think that change is good.
So, as of recently right now, the season has been a bit pretty... it's hard to explain. The community is split between this because it's a pretty good season, but with the Reacher's Lab, it's pretty hard to explain like if people like this Reacher's Lab or disliked it. They're split between it, but in all my respects, I just say just play whatever you like. But honestly here, the effects have been pretty positive and a lot of negative.
It's definitely like the new additions that it's had. I think it's definitely gone downhill from what it's had like in the early seasons. Like in the earlier seasons, like we've had, they've brought in new maps, they've brought in new weapons, they brought in new modes, and for a little while now, for a couple seasons, we have not gotten a new map at all, and that's kind of disappointing because the part of the season hype for like a year now was for the first year of the game was just playing on the new map and just seeing what it was all about and getting good on it. But we haven't had that for a while, but they kept up the new weapons, but this season they didn't add a new weapon at all, which was kind of sad, honestly, because we didn't get the grind out a new weapon and get good at it, like we used to for like every other season. But I think they tried to supplement for not having both of those with this new Ninja Gum Lab, which was going to be the new huge thing of the game. And right now, I don't see a huge difference with that Gum Lab. Like most other players scream it says, I know it's pay to win. I know they're trying to be super stingy with it, and like, oh, 4 packs per season you can buy for like a total of $170. You can get a whole bunch of research points to make you stronger. Like, yeah, I know some players are gonna have the money for that, but I know I'm not. So I'm just gonna be down here, and really I've seen like people flexing their level badges, like in ranked. I see them like get bottom spots like a lot when I'm with them. So I'm just like, if I play better, I play better. It doesn't matter if you get buffed. That's like how I see pay to win. Like, if it's like, because it's like the max buffs you get, it's like 10%, and there's a lot of them, but 10% is 10%. Not the biggest thing in the world, but still a difference. But at the end of the day, as long as you play better, you're going to win. So I don't think that's as big as a deal as people say it is.
I've spoken to a lot of people about, kind of the big elephant in the room, being the Gum Lab, kind of taking over what this season is, because it's probably one of the more divisive things regarding its implementation. My opinion is that the Gum Lab is an addition that I would want to be in the game, but just not in the way that it's implemented. I feel as if if it was a similar to how MOBAs like League of Legends allow you to pick different attributes, and you can only select one out of a category of 3, and that everyone is able to do it from the moment that they get the game, without having to put any additional resources in. Or if the Gum Lab system was exactly like how the Shinobi card system was, where you have to play the game to get the research points, and that's the only way you can get the research points, I think that would make Gum Lab something that I would love to have in the game, and would be something that I would more heavily consider implementing in competitive play. But as it stands, the Gum Lab is, I think, more of a detriment to the newer players who want to play the game, because it's a larger barrier of entry. Now they have to go through farming all of the Shinobi card lots, which can take upwards of anywhere from 3 months playing the game like rigorously to honestly a couple years, depending on the amount of time you have to play the game. And now they also have to farm up the battle pass and enter all the events, and maybe even spend the money necessary to level up their Gum Lab, which again can take just as much of amount of time to max out to catch up to all the players who've been playing the game for a couple seasons. On the positive side of things, I think that the WNA Resort is going to be one of the best additions to the game, and I love its implementation thus far. Giving an alternative to just standing in the menu screen while looking for matches, and instead allowing your players to play the game while they're waiting for a match to play the game is really, really smart. And I think as they develop the Gum Lab, as they add mini games and such, as they add more and more, it will get to a point where the lab becomes something where you don't even have to play any game mode of Ninjala. You can just open the game, enter the Gum Lab, and have fun with your friends, and it can be just the same level of fun, and quality as if you were playing the competitive, battle royale, team battle, etc. So overall, for me, this season split right down the middle. It has some really, really good parts, and I'm really, really optimistic. But at the same time, there are some drawbacks that I personally am not a fan of.
all night until the morning. I never miss a beat. I'll be running